In 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for October 5th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Diablo 4 is heading to a new store, and it's time to do a run on the Pokemon Bank. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa. Jan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're having emotional breakthroughs.
Yes, we are.
Breakdowns all over the place.
It's emotional breakdown week at Giant Bomb, everybody.
Exactly. We're gonna become better.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't become better without first becoming worse. So,
exactly. You have to destroy everything for everything else to be reborn.
Jan, it's a lot of games coming out. Been busy. I'm at a point though where I'm like, I played a lot of games already. I'm just gonna take a breather. I'm just kind of like playing like old stuff now. All of a sudden, and it's bad. I'm getting way behind on things. I do have my little trip coming. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be the game for that. Looking forward to it. But also, I'm like, that's still not going to be enough time to really put a dent in that thing. Well, you know what? I don't need to think about it that way. I'm just going to play what I want to play and see what happens.
Play what you want to play,
exactly.
Grubb.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have to play anything while you're taking.
Yeah.
While you're going
if
away.
I don't
for
want
a
to,
bit.
I'm definitely not going to. But I do have I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to kind of get away and just kind of kick back in a hammock in the woods and maybe play something on the Ally or the Steam Deck. We'll see. We'll see what I end up bringing. I'm only going to bring one. Well, I haven't made those decisions yet. Yes, looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. It's actually it's a treehouse cabin. It's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, like they build these cabins into these trees and make it look all not fancy, fun. Fun is the word. Like make it look fun. And I'm like, oh yeah, but the kids are going to be into this. And then we're going to be like,
that's what we are.
Yeah, exactly. Not fancy, but fun.
Fun.
That's right. Jan, I think I'm going to explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Diablo 4 is coming to Steam in time for Season 2. This comes from Cameron Coe at GameSpot. Diablo 4 will release on Steam on October 17th, the same day the game's second season, Season of Blood, arrives on all platforms. The Season of Blood is upon us, Jan.
Oh, no.
It's Emotional Breakthrough Week, and next week is Season of Blood.
Season of Blood.
The Steam page is now live.
Seasons of Blood. Okay.
Those who purchase the game on Steam will still need to set up a Battle.net account, of course, if they don't already have one in order to play. This enables cross-platform play between those playing via Battle.net as well as on consoles. Diablo 4 on Steam will support achievements as well as the ability to invite Steam friends to play using Steam's friends list and all that stuff. Diablo 4 is a game about slaying nightmarish creatures and acquiring powerful gear, but also about forging memories with new and old friends. Blizzard writes in a blog announcing the game's Steam launch. We want to break down barriers to make it easier for wanderers everywhere to defend Sanctuary. This game is the second game, I believe, of Blizzard's to make the big move from Battle.net exclusively over to Steam. They did it with Overwatch 2. Now right. Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is one that's like, Diablo 4, Jesus. Diablo 4 is like it's a really big one. It's their most recent game, a huge success. No reason to think, they're doing this because they're desperate. This is just the strategy now, Jan.
Yeah, they already got the folks that are going to pay $100 plus for early access, the special big box editions, physical editions, whatever else have you. And now they're just going to widen the net. Yep,
exactly. Well, get more, that's the thing with Steam. All these companies have tried to do their own thing, and very few of them have had the success that Blizzard's had of establishing its own platform. Though I think the only company that's had, I'm probably wrong here, but the only company I can think of that has had a more success is Riot with League of Legends and Valorant. And that's just like this free-to-play thing that like basically comes pre-installed when a college kid buys a laptop, I think. I think that's how that works. Much. So, Yeah, that's still doing its own thing. But in terms of having a store where you could sell games outside of Steam, it's Battle.net is really the one that has really succeeded, and that's just carrying over the legacy of World of Warcraft. And the power of that enabling them to put games like Call of Duty in there. Now, even Blizzard is recognizing we are leaving too much money on the table because Steam has done so much work of attracting people who are willing to spend money on games. And yeah, they're going to take a bigger cut, and that stinks. But this strategy of still putting games on Battle.net first and then launching it on Steam later doesn't seem like a bad one. It seems like it should totally work. It should work fine. Do you think they get to a point here pretty quickly, though, where every game is just launching day and date on Battle.net and Steam?
In the foreseeable future, I don't see that happening, like a day and date release onto Steam as well, because I think Activision Blizzard still sees, and I don't mean to use the term fleece, but fleece core members of their audience to want to get in that early access period or make it seem more attractive. I feel like there's also a weird sense of tribalism when it comes to using Battle.net specifically to launch these games. So they want to maintain that for whatever reason. And again, I don't want to use the word exploit, but exploit that core audience to get more money out of them and eventually just appeal to the wider audience. Like, I know there are also like, I don't want to say weirdos. I'm saying a lot of things I don't want to say today, Grubb.
You know, it's Thursday. It doesn't matter anymore. We can say what we want. We're punching down.
We're punching down, but also like the folks that can only choose to play Blizzard games on console, like a PS5 version of Diablo 4, like will specifically only want to play it there, and they're gonna get those people. But then eventually, you know, you'll see, oh, it's a Season of Blood on Steam. I guess I'll participate.
Man, I can't wait for the Season of Blood event in Overcooked. Excuse me. I'm like, yeah, Season of Blood in all these different games. It's gonna be great. Yeah. I mean, people are pointing out Call of Duty is already doing this. That's not really a Blizzard game, kind of what we were talking about. Obviously, it was in Battle.net for a couple of years, where it's like that's the only place where you could get it, at least on PC, obviously. And now that is day and date on Steam. And of course, that's overall, that is the trend. Overall, that's the trend of things moving back towards Valve. It's this waxing and waning of companies. Hey, we're going to move away. We're going to do our own store. We're going to go back to Steam. And then a couple years later, we're going to try our own store again because there's new leadership and they believe that this initiative will actually work this time. And as always, we talk about on the show every day at this point, it feels like getting people to change their behaviors, a very, very tough task. And even when you do have people who are loyal to you and are willing, like, you know, Mike Minotti, like Battle.net is the thing that he was using more than Steam for forever and ever and ever. He was a World of Warcraft guy, and then we would just play their games. It just sort of naturally happened that way. But like, yeah, you're going to have those people, but it's like if you want to attract a new audience, if you are looking at growth and you're not going to Steam on PC, it's clearly you're leaving people behind at a certain point. So, yeah, this is the part of the waxing back towards Steam, and I think that this will we're only going to see more and more from like games from Blizzard and Activision, obviously ending up on Steam and quicker and in more ways. Them syncing this up with Season 2 is a example of them like, hey, this is gonna be like a secondary launch because there's a lot of stuff happening with this Season 2, including inventory management getting much easier in Season 2. Some of the changes outlined, like converting gems into crafting materials so they don't take up inventory and stash space, has been previously discussed, but other major changes, like the addition of stashes to many of the game's smaller towns, were not. So they're trying to make it easier for you to carry a bunch of stuff and then to store a bunch of stuff and to make more room by making things not take up inventory space. A common complaint, I guess, among Diablo 4 fans. I didn't play a ton of Diablo 4, but I liked what I did play. And then Diablo 4 Season 2 is also going to massively reduce the in-game grind. Some of the changes outlined are this. Oh man, I just repeated that. They're sweetening the deal of improving the in-game grind by essentially all of Diablo 4's in-game activities are going to become more rewarding. They're also going to, I think they're making stuff a little bit easier, kind of across the board. So yeah, just basically shifting things around, making the game sweeter to come back to for people who have played a lot, and enticing people who are going to be picking up on Steam for the first time, be like, this is going to be a much better experience, even than the people who really liked Diablo 4 when it launched, than what they had. So it's, yeah, I think this is a way that they could be like, oh, let's have another, bite of the apple. And I think it's going to work, right?
Oh, 100% this is going to work. Like, for as much as we were talking about tribalism, there are also people that don't want to use BattleNet. They only want to use Steam.
Yeah.
And this popping onto there, it's going to be an excuse to like, all right, well, I guess I'll check it out. It also baffles me, Jeffrey Grubb, that Diablo 4 came out this year.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
As far as I can tell amongst the staff, there is no appetite, or it is on no one's radar to circle back to.
Yeah. I think it's I wonder what that is. When I try to think about it for myself, it's action RPGs are the kind of thing. I think I had a good time playing Diablo 3 couch co-op a couple years ago, more than that now. And I'm like, that's kind of, I almost have my fill still from that and don't have the need to go back to Diablo 4 personally. And I know people who Diablo 4 really hit with them and they had a really good time and they probably were playing couch co-op with friends or their wives or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great experience. But it's a known quantity at a certain point, I think, for me, where I'm like, I know what I'm going to get out of Diablo 4, and I'm like, want to try out some of these other things. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is clearly going to be, for me, way up there above. Like, I want to get to that before I go back to something like Diablo 4. Diablo 4, you're right, not really on the list for me of things I want to circle back to.
Yeah, I remember really, really being into Diablo 3 a lot when it originally launched, and I was playing that on like an old ass MacBook Pro that could barely handle it.
Yeah.
And we fired up Diablo 4. I think we even did a stream of it, right?
We did, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was me, you, Bacalar, I think, and
I think Dan was there because there were bones.
There were bones, yeah. There were Dan bones.
Dan bones. But after that initial stream, hasn't really grabbed me since. I think I will invest my time into trying Baldur's Gate 3 again.
Yeah, giving a real go, college try in the old Baldur's Gate 3. All right, let's get back to the theme of this week, which is a lot of things are fucked up. All unionized Dragon Age Dreadwolf QA workers have been laid off. This is from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon.
This game.
Yep, this is just, it's baffling. All of Keywords Studios' unionized QA workers were laid off from the studio in late September after Dragon Age Dreadwolf developer BioWare declined to continue its contract in August. The QA workers were contracted to assist with playtesting and quality assurance at BioWare Edmonton, won their union vote in June, and they won their union vote in June of 2022. All 16 eligible voters said yes to joining United Food and Commercial Workers Canada Union, local number 401. It was a historic vote, making the group the first games industry union in Canada. Keywords Studios workers were in bargaining with the company when they were laid off following the news of 50 job cuts at BioWare itself. A UFCW representative told Polygon that 13 people were laid off. Everyone supporting BioWare was included in that. Liz Corliss, Keyword Studios Global Head of Marketing, confirmed that 13 Edmonton-based QA workers were laid off. We can confirm that regardlessly, the 13 Edmonton-based staff have now left the business following the end of a fixed-termed client contract, Corliss wrote in an email. The group of workers were laid off on September 27th. Russ Worm added that Keyword Studios has taken the position there is no more work available. We know that QA is kind of getting hit hard across a bunch of studios right now. But boy, that just feels like a convenient way to not have to deal with a union, right?
100%. I always feel terrible that it feels like at studios, QA workers are always treated the worst. And I just hear horror stories of that throughout all time. And it's especially unfortunate. And it feels really illegal to lay off a whole group that have unionized. I'm not an expert in the law, Grubb, but that feels mighty icky.
I mean, it's risky for BioWare and EA because, listen, these companies are allowed to make job cuts. That is legal. If there is ever, and if these people were to say sue for because they feel like this was a reprisal, right? If they feel like this was a way to get back at them for unionizing, they could sue for that. And listen, I'm not sure about Canada. I'll say that this is how I think it works here. They could sue for that.
Right, retaliation.
Retaliation, right? Yes. Yeah. And if there is evidence in email that it happens that they discover in the discovery process, that would be very, very illegal here. That retaliation, that reprisal in writing, saying let's just fire them, let's just cut their jobs instead of having to deal with this. That would get them in a lot of trouble. I would imagine that EA and BioWare are unfortunately clever enough to probably just do that wordlessly. And that would, that doesn't mean they couldn't fight it and that they wouldn't be able to prove that this was done in court and get a jury or whoever would discuss who would ever adjudicate that to come to the side of the people who were laid off here. It's just much more challenging. And these people probably had their lives and they were like, let's just move on. It's the end of the contract anyhow, that we knew this was a possibility. But yeah, I'm with you. 100% icky, because we know what really happened here, right?
Yeah. They did not want to give in to the union's demands for better pay, just better working conditions. And the thing that's especially unfortunate is QA is such an underappreciated and necessary job in game development.
Yeah.
And I don't want to point fingers, but especially in a game that isn't even out yet. Grubb.
Yep. And it keeps getting pushed
delayed.
back, keeps getting delayed internal delays. Again, they've never confirmed publicly, but no, it is getting delayed, getting pushed back. And yeah, I mean, this is from the team that did Andromeda, right? And they're still, as far as I understand this, yes, because Mass Effect is the one that's going to use Unreal, right? I'm trying to remember my own reporting now, Chan. Mass Effect is going to be Unreal, but I'm pretty sure Dragon Age is still Frostbite. Frostbite, notoriously difficult for BioWare. It's a tough tool set in terms of animations and things along those lines. And that plagued Andromeda and sunk that game before it had a chance to prove itself. And once it had a chance to prove itself, it didn't live up to that at that point either. It was a disappointing game across the board. But the thing like that just demolished it right out of the gate were the memes of, boy, my face is tired, because the lady has to say that because the animation's so bad and the team knows that. They put in excuses for why the game's going to look silly. And now you're going to not have QA there to like even have a safety net. I mean, they'll probably contract some other new QA studio here in a couple months. That's what they'll probably end up doing. And in this, so now at that point, we'll really know, yeah, you needed these people. You just didn't want to deal with the union.
Yeah, of course. That's 100% what they're going to do. They're going to reach out to a cheaper QA studio or QA group and exploit them rather than wanting to pay actual employees. Like, it's going to be the whole contractor purge cycle all over again. And it's especially unfortunate. And God, this industry is fucking frustrating as shit, Grubb.
Yep, for real. I mean, I think that you could probably point to, hey, this is just how contracted gigs work. That these things just end up once the contract is up, you have to move on. Yeah, that's a problem in itself. Like that is like why do we think that happens? Well, that happens because it is usually a legal skirting around of responsibilities that you would have to actual employees, and that's that the union from the QA workers was definitely going to try to deal with that with those issues and say, well, what can we get a little bit more because we are doing this similar kind of work and. We wanted you to honor the spirit of the law that says, hey, you need to, if you hire someone or work with someone for this long, you need to be able to hire them on or give them some sort of benefit or something like that. And we're going to come to the table and argue and try to, earn some of that and ask for you for some of that. And it's like, well, the whole reason they do these contract gigs in the first place is to avoid those issues and avoid having to spend that money. And it's like, okay, well, the whole system is a problem here. And this is just an example of that manifesting. All right. Sticking with this, laid off Dragon Age Dreadwolf developers sue BioWare for better severance. This comes from Stephen T. Wright at GameSpot. Back in August, BioWare laid off 50 employees that were reportedly working on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Now, 7 of those employees are suing the studio in Alberta, claiming that severance pay they received was too low. According to GamesIndustry.biz, the plaintiffs say that most cases of termination without cause in Alberta give the affected employee at least 1 month of severance pay per year of service, plus full value of all benefits included. The plaintiffs further claim that the severance that they received was significantly less than that. The plaintiffs reportedly each have an average tenure of 14 years at BioWare. In a statement, the staff also alleged that BioWare would not negotiate the severance offered. One said that the NDA surrounding the high-profile Dreadwolf project means that they can't show any recent work from the game in their portfolios, which makes them very concerned about their prospects for finding another industry job. The group's counsel, R. Alex Kennedy, further stated that BioWare may not have included provisions in these agreements that are, or may have included provisions in these agreements that are contrary to the Employment Standards Code. So far, BioWare has not publicly responded to these allegations. If the company does, we will update this piece accordingly. Dragon Age Red Wolf was first announced at the Game Awards in 2018. Apparently, as part of this, Jan, EA, someone at EA, some EA negotiator, that was talking to these people as they were getting the little severance that they were receiving, was saying, one of the reasons the severance is maybe not as big as you were expecting is that we're trying not to take money from the rest of the team and from the rest of the game, basically laying a guilt trip on the people who are being laid off here. And this is an alleged guilt trip. Saying, oh yeah, we don't want to hurt the game by giving you more of a severance. And so these people are they're using the employees remaining at the studio to take away stuff from the people that they're laying off. Just scummy.
Allegedly, fuck you.
Exactly. Yes, that is the deeply just dirty stuff. I really hate this kind of thing, and it's something like we're seeing more and more of. Like, these companies have been slapped on the wrist in the past, but in the end they're going to come back, and this is the default behavior for someone like EA.
It's terrible, and it just reminds me of the story we were talking about earlier with the developer behind Hyenas, and that being Sega's most expensive game. Right?
Yes, that's right. Hyenas is the most biggest budget game in Sega's history, apparently,
which is absolutely insane,
unbelievable.
And the thing is, I there's two parts of me. There's two wolves in me here, Grubb, that wants this game to fail because of the mistreatment of folks that have been laid off, the QA union being laid off, and not two hyenas. You're right. Within me, just cackling, and wanting this game to fail, but also feeling terrible for the folks that are still there, and knowing the crunch and like the extreme pressure that they are now also under, because now they're getting all this bullshit about like, well, we can't give your former coworkers all the money because we need the money for the game. And that just being like a bunch of bullshit all across the board, because whether or not this game will perform well, if and when it eventually releases, it's gonna have a stink to it. Because of all of this stuff leading up to it, I don't think they even needed to announce this game as early as they did.
Yeah.
And that it's just gonna. This game is already tainted, Grubb.
Yep. It's
the devs aren't gonna get the full blame, right?
Oh yeah. It'll go back to being like, this isn't BioWare anymore. Let's wrap this up. We don't need this studio and things like that. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because the people that are left at BioWare now are the ones that have done the rescuing repeatedly to games that have misstepped and came out feeling underbaked. It's primarily people, not primarily, but it's a lot of people who were at like BioWare Austin and were saving Star Wars: The Old Republic. And now they got rewarded with, hey, listen, we believe in you because of what you've done in the past. I think overall, EA's faith in BioWare is much lower, and so it's like, oh man, they might even get a chance to really prove that they can get something right in the first place instead of just rescuing someone else's mess. We'll see. Dragon Age Red Wolf, I will again. I've heard internally the people who work on that game are pretty happy with it. They think that is a pretty good game that they have on their hands. If they just want to take a little bit of extra time. But every one of these moves feels like it's moving. It's putting another obstacle in front of the studio's ability to actually execute on it. And it's like they don't need that. They've had enough obstacles in the past, and so. But EA, like every other publisher, just looking around and being, hey, we talked about this with BioWare. BioWare did spend a lot of money over the last several years. Hasn't had a lot to show for it. And so, yeah, the people at BioWare that were in charge of BioWare, not blameless. Like, I should say that is something they also believe at that studio. They know that there is some blame to go around for the way that they were designing some of these games. But it feels like, again, the people left there were the ones that just kind of do know what they're doing, and they deserve a chance, I think, and I hope that they get it. I hope that this actually comes out and can prove that they know what they're doing. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the Pokemon Bank and Deep Rock Galactic sequels that are maybe a roguelite. That sounds very good to me.
Oh.
We'll get to all of that right after this. And we're back. Janichoa it's time for you to check on the status of your Pokemon Bank because users have been encouraged to transfer Pokemon to Pokemon Home ASAP. This is from Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. Yesterday, Nintendo announced they would be ending online play and other functionality for the 3DS and Wii U in early April of next year. Although a lot of different parts of the 3DS online service will be impacted, one that won't be in the foreseeable future is Pokemon Bank for the 3DS. As noted in the original announcement, the service will still be available even after other online services end. The official Play Pokemon social media account has now shared a new post about this to spread awareness, while advising trainers to still transfer their Pokemon to Pokemon Home on Switch and mobile devices as soon as possible. Nintendo 3DS online services will be discontinued in April 2024. While Pokemon Bank can be used beyond that date, we encourage players to transfer their Pokemon to Pokemon Home at their earliest convenience. Why is that so ominous? It's like, you said it's going to work, and you're like, but hey, man, I don't know. Yeah, hey, shit could go screwy. You should get your stuff out of there, I think. It's a way, well, you're not going to fix it if it breaks. And, to be fair, Nintendo was like, if Nintendo online services break on the 3DS or Wii U before April 2024, we might not fix them. So it sounds like maybe that could come for Pokemon Bank as well. Jan, do you have any beloved pocket monsters in Pokemon Bank right now?
I've already withdrawn all of my beloved Pokemon that may have existed in a bank at one time or another. I collected no interest on them.
Okay, very good.
Are all still fuzzy, scaly, and lovely. I've transferred them home. I've brought them home.
Yeah, you keep them in the freezer now. That's
you
safe.
just keep them in the freezer. Yeah. Still got tons of swimmers. I don't trust the Pokemon Company. So I would urge any and everyone, if you do have Pokemon that still exist in the bank, take those bad boys out now, because I feel like the Pokemon Company or Game Freak, whoever, is going to fuck up, flip the wrong switch,
yes,
and all of your lovely Pokemon are going to be put out to pasture. So do that, because I don't trust the Pokemon Company.
Jam, what is the difference between Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home?
So Pokemon Home is the newer service that is supposed to easily connect with Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Go, Sword Shield, Scarlet Violet, and make that easier to transfer Pokemon in and around the games there. Pokemon Bank was the previous system that they had put into place. And I believe that's correct. I'm going to say that's correct. No one correct me, please.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life right now. And if I recall correctly, I don't believe there being a cost to Pokemon Bank, but Pokemon Home, it is an additional charge on top of your Nintendo Switch Online service.
Right.
That, despite me not enjoying a Pokemon game in quite a while, I am still fucking paying for it because I need my shinies, my shiny Shuckle to be preserved.
Shuckle up, Jan. Wait, what's a Shuckle? What?
A Shuckle is a weird looking turtle. You'd like it.
Oh, I would like it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, give me all your Shuckles, everybody. You know how I love to.
Shuckle Duckle.
Shuckle Duckle. Okay, let's keep moving along here. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core has been announced for PC. This comes from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Ghost Ship Publishing and developer Ghost Ship Games have announced the Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, a cooperative roguelite first-person shooter spinoff of Deep Rock Galactic. It will launch in early access for PC via Steam in November 2024. It's so far away. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is a spin-off of Deep Rock Galactic with a roguelike twist. In each mission, you start from basics and cooperatively build up powers and abilities for the team. The story is about a team of elite dwarven reclaimers called to planet Hox's 4 to deal with the situation. The gameplay involves selecting your loadout, fighting your way down multiple procedurally generated stages, and reclaiming dig sites. Between missions, you return to your ship and research new gear. Jan, this sounds like so much of my shit. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is in early development and will have closed alpha testing. All right, well, I'll get into that. Join the Dwarven Reclaimers for a deeper, darker, and more dangerous experience. I'm realizing more and more every day, Jan, that roguelite is my complete jam. It is everything I want in a game. Let me go out into a world and struggle give me like one little thing that's going to make it easier next time. Let me go back home, equip it, maybe upgrade a thing or two, get a little bit more HP, go back out in the world, and let me get a little bit further. And I know the entire time that really I'm getting further, probably mostly because I'm getting better at the game. But having the idea of like, well, no, I just upgraded things, so now it's going to be easier, is this nice little mental trick of being like, well, I know it's going to be easier, so I'll go again. But really, I'm just learning more, I'm getting better, and I'm getting more experience, like actual playing experience, and that's making the difference. It's like such this peanut butter and jelly situation of a video gaming thing, and I think it's such a good idea here. This sounds like the roguelite version of SteamWorld Dig 2, and that's one of my favorite games ever. It's like, yeah, go down, dig. It's procedurally generated. Next time we'll go down a little bit further. I want this real bad, Jan. How about you?
I love feeling the enthusiasm and the happiness describing this, Grubb, because now I want to play it.
Right.
I have no interest in Deep Rock Galactic, but hearing your enthusiasm about the prospects of this turning into a roguelike, it's fascinating and I love it. Is it life, Grubb? Just a roguelike? Start again every day?
Is a roguelite. Yeah, and get a little bit more experience. Maybe you get a little bit of upgrades.
Home,
yeah.
The same shit every day. But you know what? I'm going to do it a little bit different today.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it a little bit different.
Upgrade my phone, and that's going to make things a little bit easier. And it's like, no, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't actually change anything. It's you get better. That's what's actually changing. At Pixel 8 Pro, I don't need it, Jan. I don't need it.
Does it shoot and log?
No, it's got video boost in the cloud. That's what I need.
All right.
Okay, let's keep. Okay, this one I'm also excited about. Here's a first look at the Animal Crossing Lego sets. It's from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. After a successful line of Mario Lego, Nintendo's teaming up with the Brick Company once again to create Animal Crossing Lego sets. Nintendo posted a sneak peek at the upcoming collaboration on its social media pages Thursday, showing a short clip featuring 8 Animal Crossing minifigs celebrating as a balloon-lifted presence flies up into the sky. There is Rosie Bunny Marshall, a fan favorite from Animal Crossing New Horizons, Kappa, Fauna, Julian, Isabel, and Tom Nook. I'm going to try to get this up for everybody, but Jan, how are you feeling about Animal Crossing Lego crossover?
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah,
I mean, what else are they doing with New Horizons, right?
Yep.
Absolutely nothing. So just monetize the people even more so.
Monetize the chill. I did show before I knew this was happening. Last night I showed Emmy some of the cat characters from Animal Crossing, and she's back on the I don't play video games. She's like, I'm too girly to play video games, and I keep trying to tell her that's not a real thing, but whatever. I'm not gonna try to force her to play games either. But I showed her this, and she's like, that might be the only video game I play. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get some Animal Crossing going, and now we have some Legos to make it even better. Look at these little guys. I like these Animal Crossing minifigs a lot.
Yeah, I see in like the grand calculus of the universe, Grubb, where I could have skewed off and become a worse or maybe a better person than I am today. There easily could have been a world where I was obsessed and trying to collect minifigs all the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that could have been real dangerous for you, I think.
Oh, no.
Let's see, if I click this about, is that going to be anything? No, it doesn't look like it's anything. Kuno's got that video. Okay. I'll say that, yes, I am all for this. This seems like a pretty good idea. I don't know if Animal Crossing would have been like the first natural thing after Mario for me, but now seeing it, I'm like, I'm definitely excited about it. And it is the kind of thing where I know I can play this stuff with my kids, and they would be interested in it still. Like if it was Metroid, I mean, hey, give me Metroid Legos, absolutely. Let me build Samus's ship. I want that real bad. But it's not like, oh, well, I can't really justify that by being like, well, I'll get that. Me and the kids will play with it together. They're not going to care about Samus's ship, at least not yet. Let's see here. Look at some details. There's no official release date or pricing information available just yet, but Lego leakers did suggest in August that Animal Crossing sets were coming in March 2024. The leaked information said to expect 5 kits ranging from a 170-piece kit for $15 to a 535-piece kit for $75. Beyond the minifigs and a few other details like the cute fruit trees and floating present, there's not much to go on regarding what to expect from the collaboration. Of course, there are plenty of buildings that could be recreated in Lego form, like the iconic Nook's Cranny. A fan-created version of Nook's Cranny was highlighted by Lego Ideas blog in September 2020. Lego builders are able to submit ideas to the Lego Ideas program, and if they get enough support from other builders, Lego will review them. If Lego likes a build enough, the company may create a set inspired by it. Isabel's office at Town Hall would be another obvious choice for a Lego set. But I'm hoping to see the Island Museum fit with Brewster's The Roost coffee shop and Jolly Red's boat. I think all of those sound really great. The museum is the one I would probably want to see the most. I guess they could probably just do like a corner of the museum and the Roost coffee thing. Maybe that could be 535 pieces. I could see that being possible. But yeah, I can't remember. Were you a big Animal Crossing guy, Jan? Have you ever played much Animal Crossing?
Not so much. Played New Horizons because like everyone was playing it. And then a little bit disappointed about how multiplayer was handled there.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. Poor implementation.
Yep.
Also, it quickly became bedlam because of how people are exploiting the stock market. So it's just like real life. Yeah. But this definitely seems like a no-brainer, Grubb, because I have friends where their only game ever was Animal Crossing. And they went goo goo gaga for the trading cards and then the Sanrio tie-in, I think. So any type of Animal Crossing, whatever, they will go wild for. I could also see them doing like a tile set or like I guess a Lego set of like, here's a small island, here's a bunch of pieces, go build your own island with like hills and trees. God, the Lego trees with the little fruits in them, man, that'd be cool.
Were you? I can't remember if it was you. Were you the one playing the Hello Kitty Animal Crossing like game on iOS?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm thinking like, cause Emmy was interested in Animal Crossing, but I know she would go gaga for the Hello Kitty version of that. Is that something that's friendly for someone who's just learning to read and write?
Oh, I think 100%. Like a lot of it, you could just like futz around with. I don't remember the timers on like the day-to-day stuff being as restrictive as starting New Horizons, because like I could see that being very frustrating.
Yeah, little kid's not going to get that. Yeah, they barely have a concept of time. Like she's just learning to like what 10 minutes is. Yeah,
I barely have a concept.
Same here. Time, you know? I don't. I cannot put myself on a timeline. That's a problem. Yeah.
But I think the Hello Kitty Adventure Island, I think that's what it was called, is a good launching point for someone Animal Crossing curious.
Yeah, I think so too. So I might look into that. I was like wondering because when you said the Animal Crossing Sanrio crossover, I'm like, oh well, I completely forgot about that, and I was like, these are some cute cards. I might look into this myself. Okay, let's keep going here. Mario producer calls Sonic release date an interesting coincidence, which sounds threatening, I think. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Super Mario Bros. Wonder producer Takashi Tezuka has called, has called the game's proximity to Sega's own side-scrolling revival Sonic Superstars an interesting coincidence. The two classic platforming giants are set to go head-to-head for the first time in decades this month, with Sega's game releasing on October 17th and Mario Bros. Wonder days later on October 20th. Speaking in the latest issue of Game Informer, which is available to purchase now, series producer Tezuka, who's worked on every Mario game since the 1985 original, and he's my fucking boy, love Tezuka, said he welcomed more side-scrolling games to the market and that he wants as many people as possible to play them. I think it's an interesting coincidence, he said. We've been creating 2D action games for a long time, and we, of course, want as many players as possible to enjoy these games. We're looking forward to as many people as possible having the opportunity to play these 2D side-scrolling action games, Mario or otherwise. Wonder, of course, is the first 2D Mario game since New Super Mario Bros. U in 2012, and appears to even that, Jan, that's so crazy. That's like 11 years since the last 2D Mario of any kind, and I don't get it. We are. It's got to be. That means it's got to be more than 2 decades since the last Mario that wasn't a New Super Mario Brothers, 2D Mario. I don't get it either. But here we are, and Wonder, I think, is about to pop off. Do you think like this could inspire a new golden age of 2D platformers? Because I don't know if I'm like on that wavelength. I hope so. I would like that, but I don't think so.
I don't think so, unfortunately. I feel like, and I'm even looking at the indies that are popping out there, and like a lot of them are aping or being inspired by like Nintendo 64 style platformers. I feel like that wavelength is moving towards like now going to start moving towards like the PS2, GameCube era, like that one game, Grubb,
Super
with the
Kiwi
yo-yos.
64? Or God, I can't remember. I know what you mean, but
we can never remember the name.
No,
of
we
it.
can't.
But that feels like it's going after like a Billy Hatcher style of platformer.
Yeah. It
I
is
wouldn't
from it's
mind
from the team that did
Sonic
Sonic
Mania?
Mania. Yeah, the Sonic
Yeah.
Mania team. Yes. Right. I think you're right though. Like that, we are now entering the Billy Hatcher GameCube platformer inspired era, which we got quite a handful of N64 and PlayStation ones. Those are still happening, but you're right. We hadn't had many that were inspired by something like a Billy Hatcher or Super Mario Sunshine or something like that. So I think that 3D nostalgia, I think, will continue to override the 2D platformer stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Sonic Superstars comes out, Sonic Superstars comes out and inspires a whole new generation. But like, I did love 2D platformers. Maybe I should make my Super Mario World inspired game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. At the same time, I think it's absolutely insane that we haven't seen too many ripoffs or inspired bys of something like Super Mario Sunshine. Like, I know that there's a game dev out there somewhere that has fired up Super Mario Sunshine and wants Flood again, Grubb.
Yeah.
And also, give me Sly Cooper. Give me an inspired Sly Cooper. All right.
See, this is what I need to do. I've never played the Sly Cooper games. I need to go back and like actually play the PS2 era of platforming games. Because I think I've missed out on a whole bunch. And by the time I'm doing that, then that means we will get a bunch of games that are inspired by that. Jan, what's your history with like Jack and Ratchet while I try to fix this TV for my kid?
Oh, no problem at all. I'm ready to vamp, baby. I always wanted to be part and live in the Jack camp of things, folks. Ratchet and Clank, maybe this is the hipster in me and everything, all right? But like, I thought Ratchet's getting too big for his britches. Ratchet's too good. And also, maybe it's a little bit vain of me because Jack is another 3-letter J name, just like myself. First one, absolutely great. Fantastic. I think I tried playing it recently. Didn't feel like it held up for me, but maybe that's just my unfamiliarity and everything, and maybe my brain has just been tuned a different way. But oddly enough, I also enjoy Jack 3. Strangely enough, I don't know what Naughty Dog was trying to do. I don't know why they went GTA full guns. Maybe it's because they saw the success of Ratchet, but Ratchet also still was able to maintain a lot of like the platforming goodness in that. So I think I'm in the Ratchet camp, but I'm longingly looking at Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, Jack is another series I mostly have missed, and I got to make some content that's based around me replaying these games, so I have a good excuse to go back and just play through all of them, because I would enjoy that immensely. I know I would like all those games.
You know what just crossed in my head, and I don't like it.
Tell me, I'm excited.
Jan and Danster.
I like that. Let's go.
Oh boy.
I'm a big fan of that.
But also, people should at least check out Sly Cooper 1 and 2.
Yeah, the Sly Cooper ones are the ones I want to play the most. It's something about it just seems so appealing, and I kind of like, I don't get why I never actually went back and played those games.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, PlayStation went from having one mascot being Crash, and then like, all right, cool, there's Spyro, and now those two were sent off across the board. That now it's like, all right, you're either you're a Ratchet guy, a Jack guy, and no one's a Sly Cooper dude.
That's weird how that happened. It's unfortunate. I wish there wasn't wish you didn't have to pick your camp, but it felt like, obviously games cost money, so people pick their camp because like.
But it's within the same camp, which is stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. Here you go, kiddo. There you go. All right. Let's see. You know what? Of these, I have to play Sonic Superstars first because I lost some stupid bet I made. But I will be happy to play Sonic Superstars back to back with Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Let's do a 2D platforming week and a half. But it probably won't even be that long. 2D platformers are usually pretty short, so I'm looking forward to this. All right, let's see here. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty clears that's just Cyberpunk 2077 clears 25 million sales, and Phantom Liberty hits 3 million in its first week. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Cyberpunk 2077 has cleared 25 million sales, CD Projekt claimed on Thursday. The figure is up from 18 million sales reported by the company last April and 20 million sales reported in September. CEO Adam Kaczynski announced the new milestone during an investor presentation yesterday. The phenomenal Witcher 3 achieved a similar level in 4.5 years, and here in Cyberpunk's case, a little bit over 2 years since its release. So we are selling far faster than we are selling the Witcher game, he said. Cyberpunk 2077 was billed as one of the biggest titles of the last console generation, with the heavily anticipated game selling 8 million copies via pre-order alone, according to CD Projekt. That total rose to 13 million during the game's launch month in December 2020. Chief Financial Officer Peter Nibelwich also announced today that the game's first and only expansion, Phantom Liberty, sold 3 million copies between its release on September 26th and October 3rd. Sales for the first week until October 3rd were 3 million copies. To contextualize this, we estimated how many gamers we now have on the main game on PC or the new consoles, all the platforms that allow you to play it, and it's 20 million. That's pretty good for DLC, Jan. They also pointed out the split of ownership. I guess around like 68 to 70% own it on PC, and then it's about 20% for PlayStation and 13% for Xbox. So big PC game. Obviously, that's a CD Projekt Red's bread and butter. But a lot of people showing up for Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, this is the game that I wish I had more time to play, because I think I am realizing I may be like a cyberpunk style type of pervert. And I think I may, even despite being like 4 hours into the original campaign into Cyberpunk for the first time, I'm thinking about just starting again and making a female presenting character, because I've heard that the voice acting is ever so slightly better on the female side.
It's like there's more character to it, I think. Yeah, there's more happening there.
Yeah, that version of V is supposedly better. Yeah. Grubb, I wish I had time to just play Cyberpunk.
I know, I do too. Phantom Liberty is one where I'm like, I know we have a bunch of people on staff who seem to have that covered, and I'm like, I'm into it, but it's like I'm if I had time, I'd be very happy to be playing it. But it's like with all these other options, I keep thinking I should play something else. But I had a good time with what I've played so far. Phantom Liberty is the ideal way to play Cyberpunk, though. Like Mike was like, I'm gonna just try to play the base game, and he had a bad time because he was really bored up front. And that's not going to be everyone's experience, but I think if you are afraid of that, just go right into Phantom Liberty. It's going to be a much better time for just about anyone. They really figured out the way to get you into the story faster, and then just get you going with the cool powers and the cool combat sandbox, which is where that game is at its best. It's at its best when you're in the cool combat sandbox, or when you're having cool character moments where it's really well animated and stuff like that.
How do we become voices in Cyberpunk, Grubb?
I want to manifest it, right?
All right, we're doing this. Grubb and I. Throw Dan, throw Mike, throw Bacalar in, Lucy and Tam as well. Put us in the game. We like it.
Giant Bomb, it's in the game. Let's make it happen. I'm looking forward to it.
Dan can be 2 voices. Look at the vocal range on that gentleman. I do a good old man.
Oh, you do a great old man. I do a fine old lady. Yeah, well, I'm a cyberpunk.
We'll be the couple, Grubb.
Just walking down the street bickering. I love it.
Meredith, where did I put my digital dentures?
What'd you say? I can't speak up.
Turn your ear augments on.
Did you get the bread? I need my bread to take my pills.
Bread doesn't exist anymore, Meredith.
I meant cyber bread.
Maybe we shouldn't be in the game.
Okay, let's go along here. Last couple stories are Modern Warfare stories. Modern Warfare 3 beta, release date, start time, and how to play from Kyle Knight over at DualShockers. Here's some service journalism for you. Ahead of its November 10th release date, Activision is gearing up to host back-to-back beta weekends for the next mainline Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 3. PlayStation users will be granted early access to the beta, whilst Xbox and PC players will need to wait a little bit longer before they can jump in. I think I have all of this data right here. There we go. Open beta early access begins early weekend one on PlayStation on October 6th through 7th. Then the open beta on PlayStation is October 8th through the 10th. On other platforms including, it will still include PlayStation at this point, early access is October 12th and 13th, and then the open beta, October 14th through 16th. to get access to this early period on either platform, you're going to have to pre-order the game. That's how it works. Maybe they'll hand out codes. They've done that in the past, but it seems mostly about pre-orders these days. I'm interested just to see what this game's about. I like the idea of going back to all the old Modern Warfare 2 maps. I think that's what they're doing. I want to like see those again. I don't know if I'm like dying to get in there, but I know a lot of people still Call of Duty fans. So there you go. And if you are a Call of Duty fan, well, how does this sound? Call of Duty boss says Activision fielded Call of Duty theme park pitches. This is from Stephen T. Wright at GameSpot. There's no doubt that Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises in gaming, and the series is about to celebrate its 20th anniversary. However, some of the ideas offered to Activision can be downright strange. In an interview with GameSpot, Activision president Rob Kostich said that the company heard a proposal for a Call of Duty theme park. This fact came as part of a question that regarded Call of Duty as a multimedia franchise. Kostich said the following in response. We've looked at a lot of those things. We've looked at multimedia. We've had proposals on theme parks. Throughout the years, we've always got the most benefit when we just focused on our core gameplay, blah, blah, blah. Jan, what the hell does a Call of Duty theme park look like?
People are learning the wrong lessons all over again.
All
Grubb.
over, yes.
Just because Nintendo has a fun little portion of a theme park doesn't mean you can adapt your franchise to one.
Right. I'm thinking about like the Star Wars hotel, the where you go in there and you cosplay Galactic Cruiser. Rip. I wish I was in there. It was like that, but for Call of Duty, where you just go in there, like everyone gets a gun and a vest, and now you just go out there, and I'm like, this is bad. We can't do this. We absolutely
can't call it a kill, like a UAV.
you do mini games and earn a kill streak, and just get a real plane to fly over. Actually, some of this stuff sounds pretty cool.
I mean, I guess like this sounds okay at like a universal backlot tour style thing, but not something where you're interacting with people. Think about the sickos that you interact with when you're playing Warzone, right?
Yeah.
And that you never want to meet them in real life. Well, here, meet them in real life.
Well, that reminds me of our poll question today, which we'll get to in a second after we talk about our poll question from yesterday. Where do I have it? Actually, let me get that up right now. While I'm doing that, Jan, why don't you tell people what we have happening on Giant Bomb for the rest of today and tomorrow and all that goodness?
What we got going on the rest of today. Today we have another TNT with TF2. That's right. Thursday Night Throwdown happening in the middle of the day with Titanfall 2.
Yes, TF2 back on TNT.
We're going to be rolling with the PC version.
Yeah, PC. Right? So if Game Pass works, because that all go through the EA Play thing. So the EA Play version works, and Steam version all should communicate with one another.
Yes. It's gonna be popping off an hour after this if you're watching live.
That's right.
So that's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what the fuck that is across in the other time zones.
It's a Thursday noon Central Throwdown is what Sean keeps saying.
Oh, fantastic. Gosh, what voicemail dump truck popping off later today. No episode of Game Mess Mornings tomorrow, but we will have a Unprofessional Fridays.
You're right. I should definitely be packing. So I'm going to be gone. I'm going on a little trip, everybody. So no Game Mess tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday will be Bombcast. But I won't be on the Bombcast either. So you guys have to figure out the news on your own. Thanks, Jan. So look out for that. Wednesday also probably won't have a Game Mess Mornings, almost certainly. So I'll be back on Thursday of next week. I look forward to seeing y'all then. But definitely keep tuning into the Bombcast. These guys will still have fun things going on. I look forward to catching up on all of it when I get back. Anything else we need to talk about before we get to the poll?
I don't believe so. We'll try and play Payday 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think the crew is going to consist of myself, Dan, Mike, and I guess Bailey.
Oh, no. Well, good luck with that. Have fun, I guess. All right, the poll question from yesterday. Which 3DS/Wii U online game will you miss the most? Mario Kart 7 got 17% of the vote. Animal Crossing New Leaf got 18% of the vote. Splatoon got 11% of the vote. And Super Mario Maker, the original, got 54% of the vote. And I think that is the canonically correct answer. Super Mario Maker 2 is great. But the idea of losing all the levels made in Super Mario Maker 1 is a legitimate tragedy, and they should do something about that.
Yeah.
I hate that. we'll see. We'll see what Nintendo's not going to do anything about it. I hope the community does something about it. The community's been working on their own like open source version of Nintendo Online services. Maybe they could do that with Super Mario Maker. All right, Jen, I got a poll for tomorrow, or I'm sorry, probably for next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. What kind of ride would you want at a Call of Duty theme park? Ghillie suit experience, getting yelled at by children simulator, Nicki Minaj, or gun?
Pew pew.
Or gun, everybody. All right, we'll talk about that when I get back. I'm sure I'll remember the context and everything at that point. Almost certainly.
I can't wait. Don't worry, I'll be here, so okay. I'll give the.
Fantastic.
Oh, do we spell Nicki Minaj wrong?
Almost certainly, but what is it? Who cares? Everyone knows. Everyone gets it. All you need.
Nicki Minaj won't see it.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj. Oh man, I hope she doesn't see it. I'd be disappointed if she was ever disappointed in me. It would hurt my feelings so bad. Yeah, we'll get on that. We'll get that next Thursday. We already told you what's happened on Giant Bombs. So we'll see you in an hour if you're watching live for our Thursday noon Central Throwdown. Get Titanfall 2 installed. Let's make it happen. We'll do private matches however it works. Until then, though, Jan, thank you so much for speaking with me today about video games. You know I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, Grubb.
Thank you all for watching. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.